Hello, welcome to Lucas Oil Stadium as we are just hours away from a highly anticipated college basketball national championship game here in downtown Indianapolis. UConn versus Michigan. Storylines abound. Let's get right into it. Let's start with the UConn Huskies, going for a third national title in just the last 4 seasons. Dan Hurley has resurrected what has always been a blue blood program in the landscape of college basketball, led by none other than the Indiana kid, Braylon Mullins, at just 19 years old. What a journey it's been for him, choosing UConn, choosing the hard path, as he said, all throughout this Final Four weekend, and getting back home again in Indiana in his own backyard for a shot at a national title. He had a great first half against Illinois in Saturday night's game. Started the game hot, got a lot of cheers from the crowd, and then again with the dagger late in that game, following up his dagger against Duke to down the Blue Devils and send UConn to the Final Four. Follows it up with a great performance against Illinois in that Final Four matchup. But Terrace Reed down low, it's really difficult, posing a lot of problems this entire NCAA tournament. Virtually unstoppable. And this UConn basketball team, up 19 points against Michigan State, blows that lead, still finds a way to win, down 19 points in the Elite Eight against Duke. Of course, we know how that ends. This team is impossible to put down, relentless in everything they do, winning in multiple different ways, and certainly going to be a very, very potent opponent for Michigan come the national title game on Monday night. We got a chance to hear from the UConn Huskies ahead of this matchup as they're looking to bolster their resume for what would be a potential dynasty, no doubt, if they were able to hoist that trophy come Monday night.
Cool. Players who recruit out of high school or multi-year transfers, obviously they're, you've got situations where there's a Cam Spencer where you've got this huge need in the program that Jordan Hawkins leaves as a sophomore, goes lottery, wins a national championship. Now, boom, you got to really fill a role that you don't have a player that you've recruited and developed ready to step into. I think for us it's always we want to have a lot of continuity. Our culture is it's unique, it's specific. It takes a certain type of player to play for me. It takes a certain type of player to play at UConn. And I think when those relationships are forged through a recruiting period as a high school player, they really buy in and believe in your program. So, we want to supplement, hopefully our roster, with some strategic portal moves like we were able to do. We needed help at point guard, Silas Demery, Malachi Smith.
Coach, we're going to go toward the back.
The suit, the suit.
Yeah, the suit. Suit's
in bad shape. I'm not going to lie to you guys. The pants are fine. It's the jacket that is really, the lining is a problem. There's like 3 holes when I stick my arm in the right. There's like 3 different places, and if you could see it, it's like the lining is coming through. It's actually going past the dress shirt. I'd say my biggest problem is that the lining in the jacket is a complete mess. So I'm gonna have to get a tailor in the off season.
We'll go to Dana toward the back.
Dana O'Neill, CNN Sports. Dan, kind of related to how you answered my question yesterday, you guys are not favored and are quite a serious underdog in this game. How will you use that to fuel your team?
In this game, not at all, because when you get down to winner take all at this point, there's just that. Something that you probably doesn't even register. It's just like preparation, game plan, make sure the guy you're getting is healthy and as all the recovery, and just really you don't have to be the best team. You don't have to have the best season to win this tournament. These are all one game 7, single game elimination. There's been plenty of times in the history of this tournament where the best team hasn't won it. You just got to be better for one night, and obviously, for us, we need to play the game a certain type of way. we obviously can't get into a certain type of game with Michigan. They're, incredibly dominant team, incredibly well coached, talent up and down the roster, physically imposing, all those things. So, the good thing for us, it's not a 7-game series. Just got to play one game on Monday night.
Back of the room, center.
Hey, Dan. Brendan Marks from The Athletic. You've said all year that you need a terrorist to be at his absolute best for you guys to be at your absolute best. So what's your relationship been like with him? What are the biggest areas you've seen growth from in him, and what is enabling him of late to be playing at his absolute best?
Yeah. My relationship with him, it's improving. It's really improved since he's been on a tear. Now we're best friends.
We're going to go to that same area.
But I've been saying that go back 6 weeks, go back 2 months, go back 3 months. I've said that, our season's going to be determined by what Tarris Reed does, which Tarris Reed we get. Does the light switch go on for Tarris Reed? I've been saying it for months and months and months.
Same part of the room.
Coach Justin Williams from The Athletic. For Luke, and then obviously for Justin Joyner on Michigan staff, they want to get to this point, but how challenging is that for them to juggle those two responsibilities?
Yeah, I saw Justin too, and I congratulated him, and he's a sharp guy and with incredible pedigree. And yeah, it's it just when you get a little bit, when you want a healthy distraction from preparing for, machines like Michigan or the Illinois game, I get a chance to go over to Luke and start asking him how it's going, putting his staff together, and some of the conversations that he's having with his players there. I mean, they're balancing that work. Obviously, it helps Luke now that he had the Arizona end if they won. So, but it's a lot. But when you get sick, obsessed people like Luke Murray on your staff, he's able to balance it because all he ever thinks about is basketball.
Right of the aisle, Westwood.
Josh Graham, Westwood One Sports. A lot of adjectives have been used to describe how Michigan's looked. You've said dominant. Scary seems to be a popular one in the last 5 games. In scouting them, what aspects specifically do you find most worrisome?
I mean, the size obviously jumps out at you. Just and I was even in my mind, I think when they go and get Johnson and Mara. You're wondering how it's all going to work, and then, just playing that bigger, just how big they are at the 3, 4, and 5. Like, is that, is there going to be enough spacing on the court offensively for such a huge athletic group? And they've just been just dominant, just scary with the size, scary with the rebounding. They've got just a great scheme. Obviously, they got one of the best coaches in the game in Dusty, and they got the orchestrator with Cadeau, who's shown his worth. Obviously, at that position, orchestrating everything, and then just the wing shooting. Like the wing shooting, the two-way players on the wing that make threes. I mean, it was a beautifully constructed roster that dominates the glass, dominates defensively. They just put so much pressure on your paint at both ends of the court.
Third row, third seat.
Jordan Mendoza, USA Today. You kind of alluded to it already, but people felt like yesterday whoever won Michigan, Arizona was going to be the national champion. Why do you feel like this team could not get rattled from the fact that you watched Michigan play yesterday just completely lights out, and knowing the fact that you go into the game tomorrow with a shot at beating this team that's looked so dominant this entire tournament?
Yeah, I don't. You go through your process of preparation at this point. There's, every team has some vulnerabilities. No teams are perfect. Again, it's not a, we're not playing a best of 11 or a best of 7 or it's, we've got both teams have a short turnaround. We basically going to get, probably 2 times on the court to walk through some things, bunch of video sessions to try to prepare to take away the strengths of each team, and it's going to come down to who plays better on Monday night. But underdog. I don't know that we necessarily feel like a huge underdog. Obviously, we acknowledge Michigan's greatness, and the team that they are. But we're a 34-win team coming into the game tomorrow night.
We're going to go to Chris on the left and then to Dom.
Coach Chris Butt on ESPN, and maybe this is an extra chapter in the next book to come, but now
Never
you're,
stop.
Now you're 40 minutes
Life,
away.
leadership, and I forgot the last part.
Whatever it was, the third one's really good.
What was that?
The third one's really good.
Great plug. You're 40 minutes away now from winning 3 national championships in 4 years. If
Yeah.
a young coach came to you and said, how do you explain sustaining success in today's day and age of basketball? What's your answer?
Yeah. Oh man. Develop an identity. Trust your identity. Be as relentless as you possibly can. And then recruit. Coach hard. Coach hard. Most great players, they want to be coached hard. I think it's a cop-out in today's day and age to say that players don't want to be coached hard. Great players want to be coached hard. Great teams want to be coached hard. So, but I appreciate the book plug, Chris. Thank you.
All the way to the left up front, Dom.
Dan, how do you balance the concept of playing your game the way you want to play it, but also taking away what maybe the opponent does well? I mean, how do you try to balance those two objectives when you game plan, especially in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, listen, you got to have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. Whether it's ball screen coverage or you trap in the post, or how are you going to treat Cadeau in the ball screen game, or what are you going to do when they start posting up those monstars, like you playing ones down there. You got to make those types of decisions. But I just think a lot of this tournament does come down to just how teams match up. Are they a good matchup for you? Obviously, they've got a huge size advantage on us defensively, and on the backboard, that's going to be a huge challenge for us. Yeah, and then we've got to make them work defensively. We've got to, whether they switch screens or don't switch screens or top block screens or play in a drop or hedge ball screens, no matter what your opponent does, for us, we're going to do things to make our opponents move defensively, maybe more than they're accustomed to. And then, hopefully that has a compounding effect for us during the course of the game. Where it could just wear an opponent down a little bit, just having to run around and chase people and off-ball movement more than they're accustomed to.
Going on the right side toward the back. Hand up, please.
Mike Miller, Field of 68 Daily. We've already heard the terms dominant and scary, but you know something about dominant and scary teams. What's the mindset difference right now for a team like that that's preparing for Monday versus you guys? Is there a difference right now?
Yeah, well, I don't know. 24, you have the best team, and there is a certain level of pressure that comes with, it's like when you get to the Final Four and you have the best team. That was a different level of pressure than in 23 when we weren't really sure. It was our first time. And in 20, so we weren't sure we were the best team in 23. We were just trying to win the next game. But in 24, yeah, it was different. It was different. Now, facing that Purdue's team that year was a pretty excellent team too, with Zach Edey and Braden Smith, one of the best point guards of all time. Kaufman Wren. I mean, that was a loaded Purdue team that we beat. So, but there certainly was a pressure that I felt as that when you got the best team, and when you get to the Final Four and you got the best team, yeah, I mean there's some pressure to that.
Up front on the right side.
But there's also some pressure, even if you're whatever the underdog we are, because we're one game away from having a national championship with this team. So, I mean, both coaches, both teams definitely feel the pressure going into Monday.
Adi Joseph, CBS Sports. solo ball's injury. What more can you tell us about how it happened, and how do you feel like with him and Silas both having lower leg injuries, how does that affect the way you have to manage the game?
Yeah, Solo just sprained a foot early in the game, so he was able to finish the game. He won't participate today. I think that, we'll see whether this turns into, it's going to be tough to get an MRI on Easter, on a Sunday. I don't know what the, hospitals are like on Indiana, but what's that? Hospitals stay open. Even on Easter, huh, man? Okay.
We go to the right side, the left of the aisle.
Yeah, hi, Coach. Nick Levine, The Guardian. You guys have been really successful with your charge circle, post-seal plays. Arizona had some trouble scoring down there against Michigan's size and length. Is that something you guys still go to, or do you try to find advantages somewhere else maybe?
Yeah, I just think for us, depending on how Silas comes out of out of yesterday's game, I just think for us, how we try to go at the opponent is diverse as possible, and throwing it to our center, whether it's off the block or top down or in the roll game, or off of off-ball screening when they could put two on ball. I mean, the center is a focal point of what we're trying to do offensively, and we try to get them the ball in a variety of places. It's it's easier to avoid the post traps when you go top down, because you could duck in deep. Obviously, against somebody like Mara or Johnson, offensively, your pre-catch post position is critical. You got to fight for every inch if you're Taris or Eric, because you're not going to be able to just catch it off the block and score on those guys. You got to catch it deep. So yeah, I mean, offensively for us, again, the center, we probably throw it in the post to our center more than anyone in the country, or at least as much. And it's just a huge part of our offensive philosophy, because everyone's trying to get threes, rim twos, and free throws. And posting your big deep in the post is a great way to get rim twos.
Coach will go up front to the center.
Sam Callan, Daily Campus. Coach, you and Dusty May were back in the Final Four in 2023. I mean, you was at FAU then. You coached your guy, Jalen Gaffney. And what impresses you about what Dusty's done since then, and how much he's grown to have this juggernaut team in Michigan?
Yeah, I mean, just take what Dusty did then. I mean, Florida Atlantic to the Final Four. I mean, if you look at that roster, his talent evaluation, his roster construction, I mean, his culture, his, both ends of the court, plus the rebounding, just there's no real holes in any of it. You look to, I think, the staff he puts around him. I mean, he's got an excellent staff. This is, this is a coach who's very confident, very secure in what he does in every way. So, yeah, I mean, you're looking at, I didn't realize how old he was. He's 49 years old. He looks really young. I thought he was younger than that. What was that? Right? I mean, 49, I was surprised at that. I thought he would be more in his early 40s. Thought he might have been like 40 or 41. His hair, and he looks great. So, but he's one of the best coaches. He'll be one of the best coaches for, hopefully this is the first of many meetings, in these big spots between me and Dusty. He's excellent.
Staying on campus, up front.
Hey, Coach. Matt Demick, Daily Campus. Alex started off the tournament really hot from three, but has since cooled down. I think he's 2 of his last 13.
So he's due.
Sure. What's it gonna take for him to kind of get back on track on another national championship stage?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're gonna have to make shots. I mean, these guys, the way they, the size and the paint, and obviously we're gonna, we can't abandon what we do. We've got to do what we do, but it's been kind of the story of the season. It's been bricks away at times. We've been laying bricks at different times, and but we've made enough shots to get here. When we went back and watched our shot attempts last night, we had great shots. I mean, the fact that we shot 30 whatever % from the field yesterday speaks to the struggle at times that's been just to be able to make good shots, and then the transition finishes and different things. We're not going to get away with that on Monday night. We've got to have, a really good night shooting the ball on Monday.
Up front, Hartford.
Joe Ruda, Hartford Current. Dan, I saw your moment with the Fab Five after the game last night. I'm just curious what your relationship is with those guys, and have you talked with Joanne specifically about Terrace or anything like that?
They were going by. I mean, we camped together. The old Nike camp. The old Nike camp when it was just the top 100, top 120 players in the country. So, Nike camp with those guys. The old Dapper Dan Classic in Pittsburgh, with those guys. So go way back to high school with them. Got a chance to, and the thing when you're a player, it was still a thrill, and I hadn't seen a number of them in person in years, except Juwan. But seeing Jimmy King and Jalen and C. Webb, and then, that was a pretty cool moment. The first thing goes, all right, Fab Five, like as they're walking by me, that was pretty cool. But and then Juwan, we made eye contact. I said, how about Terrace? He's like, happy for him.
Right of the aisle.
Lindsay Schnell, The Athletic. Dan, to the earlier questions about, being successful in this era, I'm curious, when you bring recruits on campus in this day and age, are you even showing them academic buildings, facilities? Do parents care? Or is it about what's the number going to be that you're going to pay me, and how soon can you get me to the NBA?
Yeah. So, no, we definitely, have the academic component, that's still, definitely something that, the families are still interested in, at least the players that we want to recruit, the value of your college education, just the overall structure and discipline of our program and our culture and organization is like, you're going to have a very full day when you get to UConn, you're going to go to every single class. If you miss a class, you're not playing in the next game. You're going to be in study hall. You're going to value your education whether you like it or not. Obviously, the process has changed. You do get to a weird point of a visit where now the agent gets involved, and there's
Go to the middle.
Let me enjoy this until a couple days from now, because I know that is coming, and it's going to be brutal. And it's going to start right away.
Now we'll go to Zach.
Brazil, New York Post. Dan, do you kind of marvel at the year Michigan's have when arguably their four best players are new players? And it's basically a new team. I mean, you guys are obviously built very differently.
Yeah. I just don't think that there's any more year one, oh, is Zach still going?
I see him trying. Should we give it to him?
You wanted more? I'm going to forget the beginning of it.
I guess, do you marvel at how good of a year they had when you consider how new their team is?
Yeah, I just think that college is so volatile now. You're competing against most programs have this type of a turnover. I don't know that you could compare anyone's first year or two or his first 4 years or whatever record to what people experienced 5, 6, 8, 10 years ago, when you had to build a program. I think now things are year to year for everyone. If I was, I think the years of coaches getting 6 or 7 year contracts, I think that there's an expectation that in year 1 or 2, you're going to start winning big because of your ability to do so with the portal and NIL. Now, what makes, Dusty May special as a coach is, obviously his eye for talent, his ability to construct a roster, the fact that he insulates himself with an excellent coaching staff, and his ability to build team and culture. He's got a special eye for how to put together a great team. And, things are volatile. It's year to year. And you got to have the skill set to do it on a year-to-year basis because, things are volatile.
All the way back in the center of the room.
Sam Davidson, the Full Court Network. Coach, in the past you've cited Roosevelt's man in the arena passage, and this year you challenged the team with more of a Viktor Frankl philosophy to find a deeper human meaning within the struggle. Can you reflect on the sacrifices and the struggle that this team has made to get back to this point, and how tomorrow's title game serves as the ultimate arena for you and your team?
Yeah, I just, when you play or coach at UConn, you don't get the benefit of coming in under the radar. You don't get to sneak up on anybody. You've got to be able to handle all the external noise, the expectations, the standards, the history, the tradition. Like what it takes to have a great season at UConn is, to go down as having a great season here, you have to do great things, and it takes a special players, special coaches to be able to execute and perform and handle that type of pressure. Because we're not the underdog. We're not the underdog story. You got a Sweet 16 berth and everyone's kissing your butt and telling you that you've had an amazing season. So we don't have the benefit of going in under the radar. And I do think that when you get to those pressure moments in the tournament or in big spots, that becomes then beneficial because you're playing under pressure the whole year. When we lose a game, our fans are so brutal on social and then obviously I'm disliked by a number of different programs. Like when we lose, the celebration that goes on and the mocking, that's kind of like a loud external. So we get to the benefit of I don't know why I just brought up our fans' brutality.
On the right side, we'll go to Pete.
Just thinking about that.
Dan.
Nothing to do with your question, too.
Pete Thamel from ESPN. Do you expect Solo to play tomorrow, and could you speak to the significance of him being the best version of himself?
Yeah, I don't really know. I just, they alerted the medical staff and general manager, Tom Moore. I saw him actually in the booth first, and then they told me. So, but I couldn't tell. We'll know more once as we get later in the day.
This likely has to be the final question. We're going to go to the left of the aisle.
It goes Trey Wallace with Fox. When it comes to decompressing from a game, I don't know if that is something that you do constantly. How do you just kind of step back, even something like last night, looking forward to a national championship game, and just find time for yourself and also maybe just your family?
Yeah, that's probably the decompression thing is something, once the season's over, I think, you get home, you take the bus ride home, get to the hotel room, you get in the shower, you're thinking about plays during the game that could have gone the other way, things that went in your favor. You're thinking, obviously about your next opponent. I think just the decompressing part is not gonna come until until Monday night's over. But yeah, for me, I can't shut my brain off.
Well, thank you, Coach.
Thank you,
That's all the
everybody.
time we have for this session.
Happy Easter.
How many ticket requests have you had for the Final Four, and how much different do you expect that'll be for tomorrow night?
I mean, yeah, I know yesterday's game, I think I only had like 12 to 15. I know a lot of people bought their own, but tomorrow I know there's a little bit more. Hopefully it's probably close to 20, but I know there's still going to be a lot of people there tomorrow.
Okay. By the way, do they get straight to the point, or is there like a, hey man?
Yeah, I mean, it's usually like family. Like I'm only usually letting family, friends. Like there's people that I'm growing up with, and it's not. I'm not gonna let anybody that I barely know come to this game and take some tickets away.
Okay, we'll go right next door.
Solo, you mentioned your trust in the advice of the medical staff. Has there been any veterans on the team, or maybe outside of the program that you kind of reached out to for advice since the injury happened?
I mean, I've really just been listening to the staff mostly, just the training staff, and yeah, I'm preparing for tomorrow just like any other game. That's all there is to it.
Okay, we'll go over here on the left.
Sports Media, HQ. At the end of that Illinois game, there was one play down the stretch where there's maybe 30 or 40 seconds left, and they were pressing, they were trying to get the ball back. You did not turn the ball over, but now going against the Michigan team that lives with turning over their opponent and getting their hands to the computer, how do you plan on having that same mindset, not giving up any unforced errors?
Yeah, I think it's as simple as that, taking care of the ball throughout the whole game. I know we have guards all over the floor that know how to take care of the ball, and our point guards are going to run our offense. And so I think that's the biggest key for us. I mean, if we can limit their transition offense and just keeping it a half-court game, I think it'll be a big advantage for us.
Okay, we'll go over here on the right.
Brendan, I was reading that your dad's a huge Fab 5 fan, and there's some Michigan connections. I wonder, obviously, probably going to be cheering for you tomorrow, but I wonder what it feels like to go up against Michigan, and obviously there's recruitment ties too. What are your thoughts on that matchup?
Yeah, I mean, in my household growing up, like, it was Michigan football, Michigan basketball. Like, that's what my family and my friends were watching. So knowing that I have people around me that are probably going to be rooting for Michigan, it means a little more in this game. It's going to be fun. But it's, at the end of the day, it is another game, and we just got to prepare the right way. No, I hope not. I'll never know, though.
Okay, we'll go down here in the center.
Coach Hurley is known to be pretty colorful sometimes, and he said that he learned about your boot, seeing you in the booth before he heard from the medical staff. So, what was that exchange like when he sees you in the booth?
Oh well, we met before we broke to go to sleep, and he just looked at me in the front row. He's like, "Oh, you gotta put it on." Like, that's basically that's all it really was. But yeah, I mean, it's the same message. I'm just listening to medical staff preparing for tomorrow the same way. I'm just gonna listen to them. I know they got the best knowledge.
I imagine he was concerned. So what do you tell him in that moment?
Oh, I told him what you see now is not what you're gonna see in a day and a half. That's exactly what I told him.
Okay, we'll go over here on the wall.
So this season you had the wrist injury, certainly didn't shoot at the level that I know you probably expect from yourself. And this, but at the same time, you're in the national championship games. Is the team success outweighing any personal frustration? How do you sort of navigate a year that maybe didn't go exactly as you individually hoped?
Yeah. I know in general, like it's been tough, but I don't really care about any of that. I mean, I'm just happy we made it this far. I know the hardships and trials and tribulations that I've been through, but there's so many other people who've been battling their own injuries throughout the whole year too, throughout college. I know it's been hard for me too. I've been dealing with something since December, and it's just hasn't really healed as much. But I mean, I've just been doing everything I can to just take care of it, do consistent rehab. Of course, something else, it's just a bump in the road, so you just got to keep moving forward. Yeah, but pain is temporary, like people say. It pushes you through your toughest of moments. So I mean, it's only what you're made of. I mean, if you're gonna go through the game, I mean, it's a championship game. I'm not like my pride is in the way of all of that. Like I don't want to miss the championship game, to be honest.
Okay, we'll go back down front.
Questions for both of you guys, or mainly Solo. Solo, this Michigan team really gets off to a quick start against Arizona. They were up 10-1, the first couple of minutes of the game, and then down the stretch, they were able to, still maintain about a 20-point lead without having their star player, Jackson Leonard, going for most of that game. How does that kind of make you guys feel, knowing that they're able to really put that many points on the board without one of their key players in?
Yeah, we know how talented they are, like as a group collectively. I mean, I think it's one thing that one of the players said, like they have 9 starters, and I feel like that's what we have too. But that's just how talented they are as a group. I feel like they can fill in those gaps, and there's no real drop off. So I mean, we're definitely prepared for that tomorrow. I feel like we have the same capabilities as a team too. So I think that's what makes it a good matchup.
Braylon, how crucial is it going to be to have a quick start? I mean, you had 2 threes in just a matter of a couple minutes in that Illinois matchup. Given that Michigan gets off really hot, how do you plan on continuing that play?
Yeah, I think just matching the energy and how hard they play right off the gate. I think that's kind of what we need to start. We just can't start out slow, and if we get behind, it's gonna be hard to get out of a hole, especially with a team so talented like that. So, just gotta find what's working and just keep sticking to it.
Okay, we'll go back left.
It's for both of you guys. The size over on Michigan, Coach Hurley just called this as monsters. What does that affect what any team, specifically what you guys want to do offensively?
I mean, I think with them, I feel like, of course, just making it hard for them. I think the best way to do that is we have a lot of plays that just make people move around on defense. So I think that could make it a lot tougher on them. You got to guard Braylon coming off screens. You got to guard AK. You got to guard off screens. You got to guard a lot of people off screens, and then you have T. Reed in the post, so drawing attention. So I mean, I think that's what makes it like so dangerous. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, kind of just go off that. I mean, they start that big lineup, and just having AK playing the 4, it moves their bigs around. And so just trying to find a way to get all that paint presence just moving around the perimeter, I think that would be a big key for us.
Okay, we'll go back right.
Alex Pierre has been to the Final Four 3 times, and he knows everything about these 2 games. How much has he helped you, how much has he helped you and the other younger players on this team settle in and feel comfortable throughout the weekend to know what you're in?
I mean, yeah, I mean, knowing that he's been through this twice, he's the guy you look to, and you're like, you can just tell he's been through it. And so having that outlet on the floor, I mean, you have Coach Hurley coaching, but he's that player leader. So, I mean, you just gotta follow what he's doing. He's been through it. Just listen to him, and he'll get us to where we need to go.
Okay, we'll go to the row in front of him. Go ahead.
Yeah, Braylon, I'm curious. You said that you guys kind of grew up Michigan football and basketball fans, and the relationship with your dad is with Dusty. I guess, was there any pressure ever to more seriously consider Michigan out of high school, and I guess why UConn?
I mean, yeah, I know when I took my official visit with UConn, it kind of just set the standard, and I felt like this place was perfect for me. But I did take an official visit with Michigan, and I loved everything about it too. It's just I think UConn was just the better thing. I wanted the harder path, the challenge, and I knew Coach Hurley was going to push me to that.
Okay, second row, Pete.
So you said you got hurt in the first half, getting tangled up with the terrace. Was there any halftime adjustment with the trainer or anything? Did you get it rewrapped or looked at? Walk me through that.
Yeah, I got it looked at. I got it retaped, just taped on top of it, just tried to move it around too, tie my shoes up a little tighter. But I knew it was going to hurt a little bit after the game, but I mean, I just got right to the rehab, got right to game ready, icing, treatment, even today. So I'm just doing everything to prepare.
Adrenaline's very powerful.
Oh, my adrenaline is through the roof. So I don't know what happened, and I got the dunk after that too, so.
Okay, we'll go over on the wall.
Hey guys, Ricky O'Dowd from SB Nation. Dan's practice tirades are legendary at this point. Is there a moment 5 years from now, 10 years from now, that'll stick with you when you think back to the season with Dan? Or so it will.
I mean, there's so much that goes on throughout this season. I mean, there's so many memories that it's just crazy, like, looking back at it. But I think, 5, 10 years down the line, you're going to be like, you're just going to realize how passionate he was. But it's funny how animated he does get during practices and games.
Yeah, no, I mean, he said it best, man. That's just the passion he has for the sport, and it goes through the whole coaching staff too. So I mean, it's probably going to be embedded in us, and I'm not complaining.
We've got several in the front row. We'll start on the right.
Yeah, I think just being in the moment and just not thinking and overthinking anything, and just thinking about all the outside noise, the distractions, and just being here with the team and the coaches. I think just staying present in the moment, I think that just helps you play better.
Okay, we'll go next door.
Braylon, a lot of people talk about Indiana as a basketball state. You see in the airport every 49 states rest just basketball. I'm curious from your perspective growing up in Indiana, what does that actually mean, and how did the basketball kind of shape you growing up?
Yeah, I think just like the fans, especially coming in with like the high school fans, I think they're very passionate. I mean, you see gyms across the state, like they're bigger than college gyms. And so I just think that we're so passionate for the game, and they all love basketball, and especially on the college level, I know the IU and the Purdue fans all love basketball as well. So I think it's a statewide thing.
Okay, in the center.
Braylon, so Michigan plays a lot of high possession games. They love to play in transition. They play very quickly. What's the key to stopping them, slowing them down? Is that one point of your guys' game plan? You want to play with them? How are you guys approaching that tempo in the first game?
Yeah, absolutely. I think just playing into our style, making it kind of a grittier game, like a Big East kind of game, trying to slow it down a little bit, but also just trying to make it tough on them, as possible.
Okay.
What does that look like? Can you expand on that?
I feel like just for offensively for us, I think we we have a lot of great sets, like the previous question. We got a lot of great sets that can move people around, and when you have like big guys like that, it's going to make it hard for them to move around and also be able to crash the glass. It's just going to tire them out when they have to make other plays. So I think that's just one way on offense. And defense, we just got to continue to hang our hat on that end and rebound. And I think that's what's going to help us win the game.
Okay, we're going to left wall, AP.
I think one of the questions I did ask, I mean, I just kind of wanted to know how this week was going to be. I mean, it's kind of the biggest moment of your life in college basketball. So I just wanted to know all the details. Like, I mean, on the court, off the court, like, how's this, how's that? Are we on the court 60 minutes before the game? So, I mean, he's done it twice, so, I mean, he should know, right?
Yeah. This is my second go around, so I think it's a different experience this time because the first time I wasn't really playing as much. So really just I think just leaning on his experience and just what he's been through. I think not really questions to ask, but just leaning on his experience and just learn from a leader.
Okay, we'll go front left.
Hey guys, Mike Crispino. For both of you guys, shooters shoot, and when they go in, you feel good. Your shot against Duke, did that make you feel better in terms of your shooting going forward? And Solo, same thing last night. Start to go in, you feel like that can get you on a roll.
Yeah, I think that coming off the Duke game with that shot, it definitely gave a little bit momentum coming into yesterday's game. But I think just going into every game with confidence, and you just got to shoot it with confidence and knowing that you're going to make every one. I think that's the mindset you need to have. And, I mean, yesterday we shot the ball collectively really well, so hopefully we can continue that into tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean, he said it best. I mean, like you said, shoot or shoot. But I feel like, of course, when you have games like that where you can see your shot fall, and it's always a good feeling. But like he said, you got to have that confidence to let it fly every time, no matter what, if you're open. And really, I think the thing I've been trying to do is just not lean too much and like lock in on my form. So I've been trying to hold my form a lot now. So I think that's really helped.
We'll stay in the front row.
Going back to Alex Caravan, Braylon and Solo, Dan calling the babysitter of the team. As teammates of Alex, what leadership skills has he possessed, and what has being a teammate of him been like?
Oh no.
I mean, yeah, he's our captain, our leader. Like, that's the guy you look up to. I mean, you see him represent in that the UConn jersey. I mean, that's what you want to be like. So, I mean, babysitter, that's. I mean, I guess that's what you can call it, but it's just knowing that he knows how all this plays out, and you gotta be there for him, listen to him.
Yeah, I mean, he knows the ins and outs. He's been through it all. He has all the experience in the world. So, I mean, you got to be able to lean on a guy with all that experience and just trust everything he's been through.
Okay, we'll go in the center.
Braylon, could you just speak to what you've learned about at UConn? There's these expectations. Before you got here, there were 2 championships. There was a disappointing season before that. What have you learned about just the state of expectations at UConn and what it takes to get here, and what is expected of people who play for the Huskies?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to come in with the mindset of, like, this is a winning program, and they don't take losing lightly. So, I mean, there's been ups and downs this year, and just being able to see growth within the team, I think that's been the most important part. But you gotta find the way to win.
Okay, we'll go front right.
Both of you guys, a lot of people were talking about how AK gets Chip's closest career with national championship, but how much would it mean to Harris also with the run that he's been on to end his career the same way?
Man, it's amazing. His story is amazing. Just coming from playing at Michigan, being there, not having this best collective team season, and then coming here and be able to come back to a national championship rise. I mean, it's definitely a motivational story. I mean, he's deserving everything that's coming his way, and he works incredibly hard every single day, in and out. So he's deserving of everything.
Okay, we'll go back to the TV riser.
What's going on, guys? Just knowing the entire season that Coach Hurley's talked about how Harris goes, you guys go. Knowing the importance that he plays with your guys' success. Knowing, not that you guys need any extra motivation for tomorrow night, but knowing that you guys are playing against Michigan, are you expecting something different or new from him that might be able to help you guys get over the top?
we're expecting the same T. Reed that he's been the whole season, man. I mean, he's been a dog for us the whole season, and we know that every time that we could get him the ball and feed him, that he's going to make something out of it and make a great opportunity for someone else or for himself. So.
Okay, we'll go in the middle again.
For both of you, can you speak to, you guys were not favored against Illinois, you're going to be underdogs in this game. Again, all the success of UConn, but you're going into this game kind of maybe not expecting going up against a big, huge favorite. So what is that experience like for you guys as you think about preparing for the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think throughout this tournament, I think we've been considered the underdog multiple times. So just being able to play with that chip on your shoulder, I think it makes us play better. And we all know that how these go. So it's just we got to find the right preparation and just make the game hard as possible for the other team.
Okay, we'll go in the front.
The buzzwords that people use to describe Michigan right now, dominant, and just so strong, those are the words that were used to describe 23-24 for UConn. How does the fact that you guys have been this team maybe help you bring some of that confidence that you can beat that team?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it for ourselves in 2024. So I mean, they have their own kind of blueprint, but I mean, we're really just focused on ourselves. I mean, we're just focused on the guys that we have in the locker room, and yeah, I mean, we're just ecstatic to play tomorrow. But more importantly, it's the national championship day, so that's all the excitement in the world. So it's not even about who's across from us; it's just the fact we're in the national championship.
Okay, we'll go back right.
Dominic Miranda, NBC Indianapolis. So much has been made about you being from Indiana. I know you've been asked about it a lot. There was a watch party for you in Greenfield for the game last night. Just what does that support mean to you? Just to represent. I know you have to compartmentalize, but just to represent your home state for that support and rally around you and UConn. What does that mean to you?
I mean, yeah, just to get back to this point, to an Indy, to play in the national championship in front of all these fans, crowd, family, friends, but just to represent the community of Greenfield, I think that just means so much to me, and I think it's special for them as well.
Okay, we'll go over here on the right.
Braylon, what do you remember about your first UConn practice?
First official, or are we talking summer? And I remember I think the summer, I think my flight got like delayed, and they tried pushing practice back so that I could get into practice. So, I mean, there's that, but I remember it's just the intensity. It's just, you're going all the time, especially in the summer. There's no breaks. And it's just, I mean, I think that kind of was the starting point for the year. It's like, man, you work very, very hard.
Okay, we'll go third in a row.
When teams win a lot, there tends to be initially is everybody wants to win, and then all of a sudden it's like more second everybody wants to. Have you noticed that in the last couple of years?
Oh, at times I definitely noticed it, but you really try not to pay attention to any of it. It's kind of like chosen cluelessness, if you say, like not really paying attention to it as much, but just focus on the group and not the outside noise.
Okay, we'll go to the TV riser.
So I apologize if you were asked this already, but one, how you feeling? Two, can you kind of take us back to a point where that might have happened somewhere in last night's game?
Yeah, it was actually in the first half. We got caught on the ball screen. It was me and T. Reed, and he like stepped on first three of my toes, I guess. I tried to move and pivot, and something happened or whatever. But I'm just listening to the medical staff, and I've been preparing and doing rehab already, so I'm definitely just preparing the same way as I'm playing tomorrow. Same way.
Okay, we'll go back left.
So, Coach Early has talked about 23-24, this teams were favored all the time. And he also brought up last night, you guys were underdogs to a team earlier this season. Do you think, knowing what you know of his personality, does he have more fun, do you sense, being that team that's on top, trying to plow through everybody, or the team that has a little chip on their shoulder gets to be the underdog, gets to play that up in preparation for you?
I mean, I think it's a little bit of both. It depends on the year, but I feel like the fact that we have a chip on the shoulder, I think it just makes it fun going into every game. But also, I mean, when you can plow through every team if you need to, I mean, that's by any means. But I think it's just the having that mentality just to go through every game with the toughest spurts and hardest challenges. I think that's really where you can tell how tough a team is. And I feel like you can really show, you can really tell how tough of a team we are.
Up front.
Real left turn here. Have either of you heard Terrace play the saxophone?
Yes, one time. One time.
I have not. I think they recorded it. He was actually. I mean, I thought he was pretty good, but I mean, I don't know music like that, so I wouldn't know too much. But I gotta learn how to play an instrument.
Okay, we'll go here in the center.
I'd love to get thoughts from both of you guys, if I could. You guys had 4 and 3 3-pointers last night. How important is it for you guys to continue to extend the offense beyond the arc against a team so long, tall like Michigan?
Yeah, I think just trying to stretch the floor and make them move around. And then that also just creates space for T. Reed, too. So I think we just got to try and make it easier on everybody on the court. I think when we're able to hit shots and spread the defense out, I think that just makes it easier on everyone else.
Yeah, I think just contributing to like how the game goes for T. Reed, especially if we're hitting shots, it frees up Terrace down low. So, I mean, if we all can do our part around the perimeter, it definitely helps our inside game.
Okay, other questions? Go second row.
So I was talking to Silas, and he said that there was a point earlier this year in practice where he didn't dive for a loose ball. Coach really got on him, and then Girl forced you to dive on it. Do you remember that? What was that like?
Yeah, I do. I remember the whole exchange. I think we were doing like scrimmages or something like that, like team scrimmaging. But yeah, I think that's just the culture of the program. It's literally just it's as simple as that. I mean, the UConn standards, just like every single practice, you're just going to play as hard as you can, have that effort, and coach is going to respect you at the end of the day. If you go into every single game with the effort and energy, he's going to love that.
Okay, up front.
Great, since the Duke game, obviously a reading kind of focusing you with the first couple minutes on Saturday as well. How much more important does that become on Monday, knowing what's at stake and what you need to do to get this team going, help get this team going?
Yeah, just taking that momentum from yesterday's game and building all that confidence for tomorrow. I mean, it's your last game of the year. Like, you got to bring everything, all the effort, and just know that everybody around you trusts you and believes in you. So I think just having that mentality tomorrow night, I think it'll help.
Okay. Time for one more, if anybody's got one. All right, we'll go back to the middle.
Sure. I talked to Alex in the other room. This is going to be his last game, no matter what. What can you say about the teammate that he's been and the mentor that he's been to you guys coming to UConn?
Man, he's been incredible. He's been incredible for me. I know my experience would be so much harder without AK here, and he just makes it so much easier for everyone on the court and just around the university. Just like, he's just such a great dude, and he's gonna get everything he deserves. He's gonna get everything he deserves.
Knowing that there's pressure surrounding a three-peat, like I had to be that leader, I had to speak out more. So just being pushed every single day by Coach Hurley in practice, being pushed outside of my comfort zone, and at the same time using the experiences I've been through as a player.
Second row.
Obviously a lot of the rosters changed because of the guys in the NBA, but you guys are in the national championship in 4 years. What do you think makes Coach Hurley such a good talent evaluator that you're able to build out a roster that's capable of going to the national title game in real 4 years with so much change in college basketball?
I think it's who the people are. You got to evaluate who the people are, who their parents are. I think that's a big piece too, is guys that are willing to come into the system, be selfless, and buy into what Coach Hurley wants to do, and just, he's going to bring an intensity, he's going to bring passion, he's going to make you uncomfortable in practice, and guys got to know that when they commit. And you've seen that with Steph Castle, Braylon Mullins as freshmen, just 2 guys, McDonald's All-Americans, Liam McNeely too, 3 guys, McDonald's All-Americans, didn't ask for anything more, were team players and just did whatever coach wanted them to do. And more so specifically Braylon and Steph just sacrificed for the betterment of the team, and at the same time too showcase their talent. So it really is just who the people are, because there's so much talent out there. It's just who they are as people, and if their families support them as well.
Nancy?
The booze that they got last night after the game, how much of that is just a reflection of you guys having the success that you've had over the last 3 years? Because it kind of seems like when teams win, they get targeted.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. I didn't even know he got the booze until I think a friend sent it to me, and I was confused why. I mean, there were, I don't know, like Illinois fans were booing us, I guess, naturally, but I didn't realize the whole arena. So, yeah, I think it does come with a lot of success. Teams don't or people don't necessarily want to see the same team win over and over again. And, you know, what Coach Hurley's been able to do these last 4 years has been incredible, and it's just adding to the history of college basketball. And I think we've been able to kind of relate it to the Chiefs. Like when the Chiefs went back-to-back and continues to make the Super Bowl, like a lot of people don't want to see the Chiefs play in the Super Bowl, and that's kind of like the example that Coach used for us too. It's like, you know, people don't want to keep seeing the same team win, but, you know, why does that matter to us? We want to keep winning.
Fourth row.
A lot of the buzzwords about Michigan are similar to the buzzwords that we're used to talking about you guys in 23, especially 24. And how does that maybe give you guys the benefit? You've been that team. You've been the one that you say dominant, you say kind of beast and on this run. But you've been that team, so you get an inside look and maybe what their weaknesses are.
I mean, it's hard to find a weakness that Michigan has. I mean, they've been dominant this entire season, just beating really good teams by a lot, and really just made it look super easy in this tournament. So their personnel is great, coaching's obviously great, and it's hard to find a weakness for them. But knowing that they've had this great run, you know, you just got to find, you know, stuff to take away, and at the same time too, knowing that you're playing against a really good team.
In the back.
You were underdogs against Illini. Your coach brought it up after the game, even though you beat them by 13 points earlier, and now you're significant underdogs against Michigan. Do you guys kind of feel like you're overlooked, even despite the program's success?
I feel like we've been overlooked, against Illinois. We were overlooked against Duke, probably 50-50 against Michigan State, and overlooked for tomorrow. So we're used to being in this position. We're used to having this chip on our shoulder right now during the season, and really just keeping all the noise and thoughts inside the locker room, the bubble that we have, into where we have this extremely high belief in one another to compete and do our best out there, and really just know how capable we are of winning games. So not necessarily worried about what other people think about us or underdogs, just relying on who we are as people, the experiences that we've been through, and how close we've came through all the adversity we've battled.
Third row.
Alex, you guys come into every year with your eyes set on 3 different championships. And the first 2 obviously didn't go your way, but how important is it for you, for this team specifically, to call itself a champion?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a dream. I mean, you want to leave a legacy at UConn, and you want to come back and see that the 26 team did something incredible, and leaving yourself a champion, especially at a program like UConn, I think it's a great honor. And yeah, we've missed out on some, and I hope that, you know, prepares us for what tomorrow's like, to really just be ready to go. But you know, at the end of the day, you only get remembered as a champion. You only get remembered as a winner, and you just got to do everything in your power to, you know, give it your 40 minutes. Obviously, this is the last 40 minutes this team's going to step on the court together.
Right next to no follow-ups, man, right now. Sorry. I got to work through these right there.
Alex, I heard you earlier talk about how Brown's this lineage of, like, he came in himself as he's highly touted freshman. I wonder what he, in particular for this group, brought this year. Who he is as a guy, who he is, how he fits in the team.
Yeah, he fit in perfectly. Just who he is, just as a basketball kid. Like, he's overly obsessed with basketball. He's constantly thinking about it. He wants to work hard, and I think his maturity as a freshman too stands out. Just not being shy of any moment and not being down on any bad performance he's had. So really being the same Braylon Mullins he's always been, and I think he's just fit in perfectly, just sacrificing how talented he was for the betterment of the team while also showcasing how amazing of a player he is. And he's one of the most unique players I've been around, and someone that I've been able to connect with.
Zach?
Are you familiar at all with the 99 way that year ended? You know, UConn's first title, Duke was supposed to be unbeatable. I think UConn was a 9.5-point underdog.
I think I heard stories about that before we played Duke, but not too familiar about it.
I was just wondering, because you had a bunch of guys from that team were here last night.
Yeah.
Tom Moore was an assistant.
Yeah.
Do you expect to hear about, hey, this is UConn, we've shocked the world before in the championship?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely seen what UConn's able to do, not just in 99, but throughout in 11 and 14, just probably years where they weren't expected to win it, and they've done it. So it's something special when you wear the UConn jersey. You get a little bit of magic, it feels like, and you know, it's definitely a privilege and an honor to wear it.
When I was in the portal, they were all coming in. So I had multiple conversations with Dusty May, and I like Coach May a lot. You know, he was really upfront and truthful with me about who he was bringing in and about the whole process. So yeah, we spoke a couple of times, and yeah, I just decided to stay in the portal and commit to UConn. So.
Are there any guys still on the team you talk to or you're friends with?
Yeah, I know 3 of the guys. You know, it was a brotherhood. You know, it's my first 2 years at Michigan. You know, so first school out of high school, but I feel like it's a national championship on the line. So it's none of that friend, buddy. I mean, on the court, it's like I said, it's personal. But off the court, you know, they're still my guys.
Right here.
Gabby, NBC Connecticut. So last night you alluded to, there were times where you maybe didn't want to play this game anymore. How did this year maybe heal your relationship with basketball a little bit?
Man, just really sticking with it, sticking through the process, sticking through the journey, knowing that, like I said, it was going to be tough. I mean, Coach coached me so hard. There was a point where, like I said, I think Coach said it online. Like, there was a point like we were about to split ways after the season, after my junior year. So just being able to keep that resilience, that keep going. Like my mom always said, like when you start something, you have to finish it. So being able, like I said, finish my college career at UConn, knowing how tough it was, how some of the days were very dark, but we're on top, and like I said, we're in the national championship game.
Jordan Mendoza, USA Today. I'm assuming after the game yesterday at media was that you guys were able to watch some of Arizona and Michigan. Curious what you guys' thoughts were seeing just the way Michigan completely handled Arizona right off the bat.
I would definitely say I kind of didn't see that happening. I thought it was going to be like I thought they matched up well against one another, but I think Michigan just came out, punched them in the mouth early. You know, they were hitting shots. They were doing a little bit of everything. I think they played at their pace. They were dictating the game. I think Mara was being aggressive. Elliott was making plays. Everybody was just hitting shots. I think they were crashing the glass. I think they pretty much kind of dominated the game throughout the whole game.
Did it kind of change your mindset approaching Michigan at all, or was it still kind of the same right now?
It's just still the same. Still an opponent we have to face. Still got a game plan for. I feel like we're pretty much doing what we need to do, starting today with what we're going to do to try to get a win tomorrow night.
Yeah, hey, Terrace. Tony Garcia, Detroit Free Press. Good to see you.
Yes, sir. Good to see you. It's been a while.
That's right. That's what I wanted to ask you about. I mean, we all know the way that 23-24 season sort of ended.
Yeah.
If someone at that time, 2 years ago, had said that you, Will, and Amari would all be, albeit on separate teams,
Yeah.
playing for a national championship, would that have been hard to believe?
Yeah, very hard to believe. I mean, we were talking about it a couple of days ago. I saw him out at the Fan Fest, just talking for a little bit. But yeah, it's just a crazy position that I'm in. And like I said, we're seeing each other in the national championship game, knowing how tough that and ugly that season was, knowing that we're both at the national championship game years later. So it's pretty cool and pretty special.
Did that play a role in getting here? I mean, just seeing the sort of what those down days can look like, how much?
Yeah, I feel like I said, 8-24 that year was pretty tough, but knowing how the standard at UConn, you know, the system that's built, knowing that just buying into each other, you know, the staff, the players. I mean, it is that motivation. You know, I've never been to a national championship. I've never been to Final Four. I haven't even been to March Madness till my junior year. So it's that motivation to really, you know, get as much as I can out of college basketball. Now we're in the national championship game.
Joe Rodar from Current Stylus. When you made your decision to come to UConn, obviously there's the program tradition and the winning. How much did you focus on the roster and the pieces that you had? How much did Terrace have an influence on that decision?
Terrace, AK, Solo, like those guys had they were a big part of me coming here. And, you know, AK especially, you know, him telling me like what it's like to be at a Final Four, what it's like to win a national championship. For me, that's what I wanted coming out of the portal. I was like, I want to go to a school where winning is a big part and everybody just cares about winning. It's more so about winning rather than your individual accolades. And that's the main thing I got from my visit, you know, just being around them and talking to them. They were all about how we want to make it to a Final Four. We want to make it to a national championship rather than worrying about themselves. And that's all I was looking for when I entered the portal.
Hey guys, for either of you, Dan's practice tirades are pretty legendary. Is there a moment from this season or Terrace from the previous 2 seasons that'll stick with you 5-10 years from now when you reflect?
Sure, when you first got here.
Coach Harbaugh. And that smile says quite a bit.
It was probably like
during preseason, probably in like August. It was like our first like real practice.
Oh, I know you're about to
I remember it was a rough practice for me. Like, I think it was a time where the ball kind of rolled to the other end, and I like jogged to pick up the ball, and like he was irate, like he was pissed off about it. So then like he grabbed the ball and he like threw it to us. He was like, Solo, like show him how we die for the ball here. Like no matter a loose ball, you gotta die for the ball in practice. We could be doing anything, you gotta die for the ball. And that was kind of like my intro to like this is the real thing. Like this is real UConn culture. So that was kind of my welcome to UConn moment.
Right here.
Terrace, yeah, Freddie Marks from The Athletic. It sounds like Donovan was back over the summer and you got to maybe spend some time with him.
Yeah.
What do you remember about that? Was there anything he told you then that sort of helped you
Yeah.
in the run to get to this?
I mean, the biggest thing was Coach had us talk after practice for a little bit, but just his poise as a freshman. I mean, just the way his screen and his angles. I mean, his assist, like the way he was just reading the floor was just so different than how I saw the game. And learning from him and the offense, how he used it and he exploited it, helped everything for him. So he was telling me like read my screen angles because I was really struggling with when to roll, when to pop, when to chase, when to play with the guards, when to slip, all that. So really just helping me break down the game and really understand that having the game slow down for me, being able like to read the guard, read the defense instead of just going out there and just doing whatever coaches say. Yeah, I mean, he said it was gonna be tough. There's days where you're gonna want to quit, but the more you stick with it, you stick through it, and you're gonna see fruitful in the end.
Terrace, Mike Crispino. Have you ever faced a person 7'3" with a 7'7" wingspan who can shoot with both hands, a diamond? And what do you think your counter can be to that in that matchup?
Yeah, I mean, he has great length. He's tall. He has, like I said, 7'7" wingspan. He's very skilled, and he does have that over me. But I have size. I feel like I'm bigger and stronger than him. So it's gonna be a great matchup. I feel like we not compliment each other, but I feel like we're gonna have just a great competition. Tomorrow night. So I feel like he's been playing really well in the tournament. I've been playing really well in the tournament, and it's gonna be just a great front court battle.
Right here in the middle.
Terrace, Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News. You talked about how you and Will and Mari never thought about getting here, but when you came in, you were coming into a place that won 2 in a row. So how was that expectation communicated to you both in the recruiting process and then once you started getting going?
I mean, definitely in the portal, knowing that UConn just won back-to-back and going for three in a row, that has been done since Wooden. So knowing that the expectation was going into the season, I mean, it even surpassed that, especially like just thinking back to Maui, how tough and difficult that was for the whole team morale and to see where we are now. So I feel like that 3P year was one of the hardest years of my life playing basketball. And just to see where we are now, see how far we made it from there is just a blessing.
Back row.
Terrace, Pregame, this is for NPR, and I was wondering if you could take me back, because as a follow-up to what you said on the podium, starting your collegiate career at Michigan and ending against Michigan.
Yeah.
Going back even further, can you reflect on that journey from St. Louis to Michigan to UConn?
Yeah, I mean, started my high school at Chaminade in CCP basketball. Shout out Coach Frank. I mean, that's a basketball powerhouse right there. We got guys, Jason Tatum, Brad Beal, David Lee, Tyler Cook, just to name a few, just been through that program. So having that work ethic that I had to learn from there, taking it to Link Academy, which was a prep school in Branson, Missouri. And then from there, like I said, I chose Michigan. So I've been all around the country. I've been East Coast to Midwest. So I feel like it's just blessing just to go out the same way I came in, and that's playing against Michigan.
Yeah, man. I mean, obviously they're a great team. They've been one of the top teams in the country throughout the whole year. They've been really super consistent. They got a lot of size. 6'9" on the wing, 6'10", 6'11" at the 4-man, and obviously their center is huge. They got a lot of talent, and
Your word is fruit taste.
sorry. But yeah, man, I think it's gonna take a lot of work on the glass, and we're gonna need to execute a lot on the offensive end.
How does your mindset? How is it different going into this one? With last year, you guys, or in 24, you guys are obviously the team to beat. The best team in the country. It was clear.
Yeah.
Now it seems like that's them.
Yeah, I mean, we've been working through it, throughout the whole tournament. like we've kind of been the underdogs throughout, each round of the tournament, and we kind of take that to heart and we use it as motivation. So, we're going to continue to do that going into the championship game, and hopefully get it done.
Your coach, I don't know if you're familiar with Space Jam, he said Michigan's like the Monstars. I guess, do you guys have, I know you're a very balanced team, but is there like Michael Jordan on this team to offset that? Or how can you win this game when, as you're talking about, as the perceived?
Yeah, man, I don't think it's going to be one dude that steps up. We got a really deep team, and I think we're all going to need to be playing at our best to get it done, and we're going to need, contributed efforts from everybody. So that's what it's going to take, and that's what we're going to do on Monday night.
Terrace, his journey is sort of coming full circle. He started at Michigan. Now his last college game will be against Michigan. I know you guys don't need added motivation for a national championship, but what do you think this game sort of means to him personally?
Yeah, man. I think that Terrace is one of those guys where he was definitely kind of, looking for a matchup like this just to give him another reason to go out and, try and dominate another game. But he's not looking at it as as like a one-off in a personal way. He's locked in on what it's going to take to win, and he's going to do whatever the team needs in that way.
What do you see as the key to Michigan's so balanced, right? Like, what do you guys need to do well in order to be in this game right now?
I think we're just going to need to stick to what we've been doing, man. Obviously, it's going to take a huge effort on the defensive end, being able to get stops, being able to play very physical game, style of play, and just get it out and running. We're going to need to execute a lot on offense. I think they're now the best defensive team in the country or something like that, but we got a lot of great weapons, and just going to need a consistent effort throughout the whole 40 minutes. Appreciate it.
Obviously, quick turnaround from winning last night to preparing for the biggest game tomorrow. What was the routine like last night? Did you guys celebrate, and then when was the time to lock in? It's time for the next game.
Yeah, we were in the locker room, kind of celebrated a little bit, but I feel like pretty much once we got back on that bus, it was like, all right, let's go dial in on this game. We got back, we watched the game, and really locked in on what was going on during that game, figure out what our opponent is, and we watched some film this morning. So we're ready for the championship game for sure.
Thank you.
Alex kind of made the comparison that you guys are kind of like the Chiefs right now, and everyone doesn't want to see you guys win. And being back in a third championship, hearing the boos last night, do you feel that way from maybe the outside world looking at you guys?
A little bit. I think we're really locked in on just the team right now. Now it's not really the time to be looking at outside noise. We've put in a lot of work throughout the year, so we put in a lot of work throughout the year, and we got a really fruitatious opportunity to get the job done tomorrow.
Do you guys kind of relish in being the underdog in this situation and constantly being counted out and continuing to battle back and now playing for a title game?
100%. I think it's just extra fuel to the fire. But kind of like I said, now's not really the time to be looking at outside noise. We all just got to dial in on. We got one more game to get the job done. So whatever it takes for the next 40 minutes, and the preparation that it's going to take to get ready for that is what we're going to lock in on.
Knowing that you guys in the back-to-back run were considered the top dogs, and that's where Michigan is right now, does that give you a better insight into maybe what their mindset is, and maybe give you a good perspective of what their weaknesses could be?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Yeah, so when you were on the back-to-back run a couple years ago, you guys were the dominant team, the beast, so to speak, and Michigan's getting touted out like that team right now. Does that give you an inside perspective maybe as to how their mind's working, or give you the ability to kind of see what weaknesses they could be in, knowing that you guys were in that spot just a couple years ago?
Yeah, man. When we were in that position, I don't think we really looked at it much differently than just being another team and just going out and playing UConn basketball. And, to have what it takes to play at that level and be known as a team at that level, that's what you got to be dialed in on. So obviously they're going to have a lot of confidence coming in. They just played a great game against Arizona. But I think that it's two great programs going at it, and we're both going to give it our all tomorrow night.
All right, we talked about the UConn Huskies. Let's talk about the Michigan Wolverines, led by none other than another Hoosier native. That would be Dusty May, the Terre Haute native, Eastern Green alum, IU alum. He was talking about back when the Final Four was in Indianapolis when he was growing up, coming here and just looking for a job, looking to get into the industry of basketball any way he could. Now, his second Final Four as a head coach, first with Florida Atlantic, now with Michigan. His first national championship appearance as a head coach is here in Indianapolis. Again, you can't script it any better with Braylon Mullins on one side and Dusty May on the other side. Michigan back in the national title game for the first time since 2018, looking for its first title since 1989. Either team who wins this, the storylines are great and a worthy champion. Both have been playing their best basketball in this NCAA tournament. Remember, Michigan's last loss, the Purdue Boilermakers in the Big Ten Championship, and since then, they have been on a tear, scoring 90-plus points in all 5 NCAA tournament games. That is a record in the tournament, scoring that many points. The offensive efficiency is just through the roof when it comes to Michigan. Again, we got a chance to catch up with the Wolverines ahead of this national championship matchup against UConn on Monday.
The 49-year-old head coach, Dusty May, joins us right now. Coach, we'll get a couple of thoughts from you, and then we'll take some questions.
Yeah, I heard the topic of conversation was my hair and my age.
It was how
Coach
well.
Hurley.
I think it was how well you're aging. A credit to your skin and hair care routine, I think, as we get into specifics.
Well, when God gives you the raspy voice and height and lack of vertical jump, He's got to bless you with something. So, obviously, still, it's an honor to be one of the 2 teams still standing, playing in the last Monday of an amazing college basketball season.
We're up front on the right side of the aisle. Dan.
Hey, Dusty. Dan Wolken, Yahoo Sports. I know that neither you nor your... Right.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Dan.
I know neither you nor your colleagues designed the system that college sports is operating under right now, but there are a lot of people who look at a team like the one you have and say, this is not what college sports should be. You should not be able to go, compile a team like this the way you did. The question I have is, as a coach, how would you describe the value of taking guys who maybe were not the best versions of themselves previously and making them the best versions of themselves with your program?
Look, I know this is going to set off a Twitter firestorm, but I think we all are better in certain situations than others. There's an environment that's right for me. There's an environment that's right for you. And sometimes you don't choose the right environment from the beginning. Or sometimes as people, we change and we need something different for a number of reasons. So the way we choose to look at it, we're going to bring in really, really good guys that are high achievers that want to do it the way we want to do it. And when the Oklahoma City Thunder won the championship last year, and I'm friends with Coach Dagnall and a lot of people in that organization, I wasn't judging them because Shea Alexander was drafted by the Clippers or because they signed Isaiah Hartenstein as a free agent. I thought, wow, those guys play beautiful basketball. That is a great team. That's a real model for young players to watch. A group that obviously cared about each other, that played the game the right way, that represented their organization, their city, their families, their last name. And so whatever the rules are, we're gonna go at it. But our job is to put a competitive roster team on the floor that represents Michigan the way we think they deserve to be represented.
Front row center.
Steve Kornacki. Dusty, a lot of your players talk about what they get out of practices, that the practices in many cases are harder than the games. Talk about your toughness building and what goes on in those practices.
Well, we just try to create an environment that will prepare our players to play well in the games. I mean, player development is helping your guys perform better on game nights, while also always looking towards their future and their individual careers. Our practices are designed to challenge them, to make them think, to figure out solutions on their own, to lean on their teammates when things aren't going well. So we feel like if we don't play well in the games, it's because of our poor planning in the weight room conditioning, individual workouts, team workouts, whatever the case. I think that's one of the reasons we play with a level of looseness at the biggest moments, because we feel like we've either won or lost these games a long time ago.
Front and center still.
Jake Singer with Maize and Brew. Just a few weeks ago, the team was pretty distraught when they lost the Big Ten championship to Purdue, and they really had to refocus and regroup before the NCAA tournament. Now this team has been so dominant. What did you say to your team? What did the team do to really refocus and regroup in this NCAA tournament run to look so dominant after that terrible loss a few weeks ago?
We didn't have to say a lot. We have a very bright group that's self-aware, and we have great leadership, and we knew we had lost our edge a little bit, but also we're starting a new season, so it gave us a chance to take a deep breath, recalibrate, refocus, and also kind of reflect on what we did when we were at our best and what we were thinking about and what we were focused on. And so it was more of just a reboot, just a restart, reboot. There weren't any wholesale changes. There wasn't a faith family in the Michigan Wolverine speech. It was just, let's get back to doing what we know are the right things.
On the right side of the aisle, left side of the room, Athletic.
Hey, Dusty, Lindsay Schnell from The Athletic. What can you tell us about Yax? I believe he did get an MRI this morning.
Yeah, all imaging has come back clean, and he's getting treatment and doing rehab all day today, and I'm sure he'll give it a go tomorrow, but that'll be entirely up to him and the medical staff. They'll tell me if he can go, and if he can, we were laughing he played the second half like a 38-year-old at the YMCA, and a really good 38-year-old at the YMCA. So whatever version of Yaxel we get, it's going to be somebody that helps us play better basketball.
Second row center, Robbie.
Robbie LaStella, bracketshere.org. Hey, Dusty, hope all is well. A lot was made in your preparation for the Final Four, having been there before. Now, having won that first game, how beneficial do you feel like that experience was? And now heading to the national championship game, what does the preparation look like for you, having not been here before? I remember back in the first Final Four, you mentioned calling your past, mentors and whatnot. Do you do that again now, or how do you go about that?
Well, if experience is a major factor, then we're in big trouble tomorrow. Obviously, Coach Hurley's been here often and recently. We are versed in short preps. You play these multi-team events, you play conference tournaments, and we do have a style of play that we felt like from the beginning would be difficult to prepare for in a short turn. And in the Big Ten, you get some scheduling breaks where you might play a team on Tuesday and then play someone else on Friday and then someone else on Sunday. So there are quick turns. And based on how our system is designed, we do feel like it's a challenge to prepare for us, but I also feel like UConn on a short prep is challenging as well. So maybe one of the reasons we're both still standing and have been able to advance in these tournament settings.
Right side, second row.
Dusty, Jeff Eisenberg with Yahoo Sports. I'm curious how your experience as a student manager under Bob Knight, how did that shape you as a person and help you succeed as a coach?
Well, my high school coach, Mark Barnheiser, was a lot like Coach Knight, and I think Coach Hurley has a lot of those same attributes where if these young guys leave our program with the ability to bring it every single day, maximum effort, focus, whatever they need to be great at their job, then we've succeeded, because that's probably the hardest thing to do, is to have these standards where you have to at least bring your best effort every single day. And I think that's the thing with Coach Knight. Now, obviously, there's a fear element and a fear of disappointing him, that you wanted to be thinking ahead, you wanted to be on your toes, you're always anticipating what's next. And looking back, I think that's probably one of the biggest components of problem solving, where you're anticipating what could be the next problem or problems. You're figuring out solutions or contingencies in advance, and then if those become a problem, you're ready, as opposed to always just being shocked at what's in front of you. And I think that's probably those are the things I learned most from Coach Knight: the preparation, the anticipation of whatever comes next.
On the right side, midway back, Myron.
Myron Metcalf, ESPN. I want to stick with Bob Knight. The first immediately eligible players in college basketball were JUCO guys. Bob Knight wasn't afraid to take some of those players. William Gladness, I think Rob Turner when you were there. What did you learn about bringing guys from other places and maybe the advantages of that as you move forward in your coaching career?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great point. And a couple of those guys I was friends with for a long time, William Gladness and Len Washington, some of those guys. And they brought a lot to the program. And Key Smart, thank goodness they brought him in as a non-freshman. Or they wouldn't have the '87 national championship. We've spent a lot of time deconstructing our programs, trying to figure out what we've done that's worked, what's been luck, what's been great processes. And one of the things that I think are what we do as well as anything is see the best in people. And instead of bringing in a player and saying he's to this or to that, it's okay, how can we use that as an advantage? How can we use his weaknesses as an advantage? And what can we build in our system that can help him be successful? And then try to breathe life into them and pump them up with confidence and hopefully get them to believe that they could, conquer the world and tackle any team. And so that's the way we choose to do it. But I enjoy learning from new people. When I have an assistant coach leave, I don't get mad and try to hold them back. I just think what an opportunity, Justin joining our staff, what an opportunity for him. And I'm excited that we'll either elevate someone into a new role or we'll bring somebody else in that we can learn from and they can add something new to our equation. And I think it's a lot like that, where if a guy leaves, yes, it stings for a minute, but some of our greatest wins have been because someone chose to leave and then the skies opened up and dropped an Elijah Martin in your lap that takes you to the Final Four.
Just a reminder, can't you video in this news conference? Third row center, CBS.
CBS Sports, Adi Joseph. How do you change what you do defensively against UConn's off-ball screening, and how does Yaxel's injury potentially play a role in how you defend all that action off-ball?
It's going to be a challenge, healthy or injured or somewhere in between. Obviously, the most difficult thing about UConn is their ability to get from one thing to the next. To the next, to the next. There's no stoppage. Once they get you in action, they keep you in action. They have amazing counters and layers to their offense. So it's going to take a extremely disciplined and focused approach every single possession, because if you let your guard down, they take advantage of it. And we've played teams like this in our league. I think Iowa is a great example of a team that plays not stylistically similar, but philosophically. They challenge everything. Their physicality jumps out. It's going to be a lower possession game than we're used to. And so, like I said, if we're not committed to defending the full shot clock every single possession and finding a way to rebound those long threes, then it's going to be a tough night for us.
Center of the room toward the back, Aaron.
Hey, Dusty. Aaron Beard with the Associated Press. I wanted to ask you about Alex Caravan. We were talking about transfers earlier, but that's a guy that's won a lot of games at one school, connective tissue to 2 national championship teams. As someone that's been around the game for a while, I'm curious kind of how you evaluate sort of the value of someone like that on a roster when you're trying to build a winner.
Well, I feel like we have a couple guys like that on our team and Will Cheddar's a great example. The first call I made after accepting the Michigan job was to Juwan Howard. I wanted to get a layout of the roster, and obviously his son Jace was on our team, and so he was no longer the former coach. He was the father of one of our players. And so when he told me about Will Cheddar and Namari and Terrence Williams and Terrace Reed and these guys, he had unbelievable things to say about them. So we felt like we're building a foundation. We need people like this. And so when you look at how much he's won, at what you hear Coach Hurley say about him, those are the type of guys that can bring a group together, and they walk the walk. They teach all of your unwritten rules. They share the culture of their experience in UConn basketball, and it's just it streamlines the process. And I give Roddy Gale and Will and Namari and LJ as much credit as I do our staff for the recruitment of our new guys. We took 4 guys out of the portal. If you listen to the college basketball gospel, we took 17 of them, and that's all we have in whatever case in year 2, and we should have a bunch of 5th-year seniors in year 2. We just don't. But I give those guys a lot of credit because they brought them in because they wanted to be playing on this stage. And it's not always common for guys that could potentially lose minutes, shots, accolades, personal ambition, things for the betterment of the group, and that's why we're here, because our guys have put the team, the unit above themselves.
Back of the room, center, all the way back.
Hey, Coach. Justin Williams from The Athletic. You mentioned Coach Joyner. UConn has Coach Murray in kind of a similar situation. How have you seen Coach Joyner juggle both these responsibilities these past couple weeks?
I feel like he was tampered with, first of all. He was under contract at Michigan. He's done a great job, and we obviously, there's a process of, he started with the normal responsibilities, and then I grabbed him and just said, I would prefer this to be your last scout, and he said, no, I want to do this right. And I told him, I said, I feel like you're a lot like me personality-wise. You're going to be obsessed with putting together a good team and staff for Oregon State next year. I think it's very fair for you to stay here and still bring your personality and your coaching to the equation. But as far as the details and the 15 hours of scouting opponent, I think you should use that time to get off to a great start for Oregon State. And so we've had him going out west, coming back. But we also felt like it was very important for him to finish the job with us, and he's done both roles really well. They're off to a great start in Corvallis, and he continues to do an amazing job with our guys.
Left side of the room toward the back. Hand up, sir, please.
Dusty, Bob Wadowski from the Detroit News. Danny Hurley was talking about the unique challenges of being such a dominant team. His team 2 years ago set all sorts of records. You guys are following sort of that same path. Team has been called the Monstars, or from the movie. How do you handle that, and does it present a unique challenge for you and your players?
I think
the movie is Space Jam, by the way. There's a second Space Jam reference of the week, just for everyone keeping track.
I think it's a great problem to have. Honestly, we've talked about that. I mean, we have a team that we think is elite. But we also know that doesn't, once the ball's tipped, that means nothing. You still have to do all the things that got you to this point, and you have to weather storms. You have to handle success. And so we're very, very grateful that we feel like we have a roster that can match up with any team in the country. But these aren't best of 7 series. These are one game seasons, and you win or go home, and we've made it this far, and I'd hate to drop the last one.
Up front, on the left side.
Aaron McMahon, Ann Arbor News, I'm Live. Dusty, you've spoken a lot about being open and transparent with players. What were those early conversations like with Terrace Reed when you got the Michigan job, and what do you make of the development he's made the last couple of years?
Well, I'll start with his development. It's incredibly impressive, and it's another situation where he went to a place that environment was perfect for him. What he needed at that stage of his career was perfect for him, and I'm sure Jawan and their staff gets a lot of credit for his skill and his, the steps that it takes for a big guy to grow and develop, even though I don't think they would want any of the credit. My conversations, when I got the job, I believe he was in the transfer portal already, and I know people around him. I know his coaches, and so we started the process like we did with all the guys of let's get to know each other. He had a lot of connections at Michigan. He had a lot of relationships, and there were some things pulling at him that I think would have been very convenient for him to stay. He also had heard, look, college basketball is there's a rumor mill that you can find out just about anything you want to find out if you ask the right person. And he had heard that Vlad was probably going to be coming with us, and Vlad being a true center and him being a true center. So he came in, and I talked to his parents, I talked to everyone around, and he basically just said, Coach, like, I know Vlad's coming with you. Do you think you can make that work? And I said, hey, Terrace, like, you both are really good. It won't be easy. We haven't played like that before, but I'm very confident that because of both of your skill set and talent, that we could figure it out. Now, you're going to have to expand your game. You're going to have to become a better dribble handoff guy. Like, we're going to have to add some things to your game that you don't currently do if we're going to make it work. But you know what? Let's stay in the gym, keep working, keep being around. Let's keep getting to know each other. Let's see if this is right for you and right for us. And then we'll revisit again in a week or two. And then we end up getting a commitment from Danny Wolf. And I think the writing was on the wall then that this probably can't work with 3 7-footers. It would have been fun to try in hindsight. But yeah, so at that point, then it was well known that he was going to look at something different, and we've maintained a relationship with him. The guys on our team, they all speak highly of them. They've stayed in contact. We've crossed paths with him. His younger brother was on their circuit, so I'd see his parents and gyms and whatnot. So it's a great family. He deserves the success. It's been fun to watch. I mean, he's put on a show in this tournament.
This is going to be amazing. We're going to go second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row. So pass the mic up one, and then we're going to go back.
Hey, Dusty. Christian Ojacki, enjoy basketball. So Elliott goes 5 of 17 from the field with 6 turnovers yesterday, but it doesn't matter because he gives you 13 points, 10 assists, 4 steals. What's been
kind of the evolution of the trust you've had in him to kind of rock out and play through those mistakes because he is the engine to your team?
Well, with Elliot, we knew based on all the intel and seeing him in high school that he had a unique gift, but we also felt like our environment and the players we could put around him would help him be even more successful. And he's been awesome. And obviously, his stat line. We look at stats and we analyze stats, but stats aren't an end-all, be-all because he had 3 in the last 2 minutes when the game was out of hand, and he didn't deserve a couple of them. I'll just leave it at that for whatever reason. And some of his shots weren't misses. He'll take the misses. He doesn't care about his stats either, but we felt like the only way we could get the ball to a die, Kravis, his drop coverage is as good as anyone in college basketball, and so we felt like the only way we could get the ball to a die versus their 2-on-2 drop coverage was to shoot it over the rim and hit the weak side of the backboard. The first play of the game was a pass from Elliott. When you look at the stat sheet, it says a missed shot and a putback. So we felt like he controlled the game. He played at an exceptionally high level, and he's a wizard with the ball. He gets our guys in closeouts almost every single possession, and there aren't a lot of guys in college basketball that can do that.
One row back.
Hey, Dusty. Xavier Shusat for the Michigan Daily. When you reflect on the season, the 35 odd games you've played with 1 left to go, what stands out as the single most positive experience you've had thus far?
I can't think of one right now, Xavier, to be honest. I think of the journey we've been on, the highs and lows. So proud of this group, and I don't even want to talk about that. We'll reflect on all this later, but the mental toughness that they've shown to go in through a Big Ten season in these environments against these teams and not lose a road game is something that I'll remember forever. The way we went from being a marginal average basketball team to being an elite basketball team in a 3-day window is something that hopefully we can bottle that and try that again in the future. But we'll think back of all of these things later on. Right now, we're just trying to be where our feet are, blinders on, and focus on playing 40 good minutes against UConn.
One row back.
Jordan Mendoza, USA Today. It's fair to say that yesterday probably was one of the, if not the most impressive win in all of college basketball this season, and has every reason to give your team confidence going into tomorrow. But at the same time, you are also playing a team that earned its way to the national championship. So how are you guys kind of not looking too far ahead and thinking that like you guys are going to ride the momentum of yesterday, knowing that, like you said, like it's not a 7-game series, it's 40 minutes, like anything can happen?
Yeah, we never ride momentum. What do we need to do to prepare to play well against UConn? They have championship DNA. They're conditioned to win. This run they're on is one of the best, probably the best since John Wooden. And so if we think any momentum or wave, riding in on a wave is gonna take care of UConn, then we're gonna be very disappointed at about 11 o'clock tomorrow night or whenever the game concludes. We've got to bring our hard hat. We've got to be prepared to play disciplined basketball for 40 minutes and not get too high or too low and continue to play for each other like we've done.
And one row back.
Hi, Dusty. Steve Greenberg from the Chicago Sun-Times. Is an old-fashioned sentiment like winning one for the Big Ten, ending the Big Ten's title drought, is that anywhere in the conversation with you, or is that just sort of like thinking from a bygone era that isn't really compatible with college basketball in 2026? And if I can sneak Bob Knight back in, what would he make of your job now? What goes into it, the way you have to do it, build rosters and such?
Well, Coach Knight was incredibly bright, so he was always going to adapt to our job at the end of the day is to help people. We're educators, we're teachers. Hopefully our guys all leave our program significantly better and more prepared than they were when they got there. As far as winning one for the Big Ten, we want to win one for each other first. Those that have supported us and put us in position to be here, all those that have poured into everyone in our locker room. We want to win one for the University of Michigan, who we represent, and our fan base. And then also we're in the Big Ten, so we take pride in representing the Big Ten. And as far as bygone history, all the other stuff, I'm from an era where whatever team I'm on, that's who I'm fighting with. If Michigan's on my jersey and Michigan's on your jersey, then I'm with you. No questions asked. It's just how. So, yeah, we take a lot of pride in representing Michigan and with that, the Big Ten Conference, because every year we're competing against each other. We're competing against the SEC, the Big 12, the Big East, all these other leagues. So the better we can do as a group, as a league, and it also helps financially as TV contracts are renegotiated and things like that. So we have to do well for us and the Big Ten if we want to continue to be on the cutting edge and hopefully be the premier basketball league in the country.
Coach, we'll move over to the right side of the room, left of the aisle. Luke.
Hey, Dusty. Luke DeCock from Hoops HQ. You said in Chicago, I think the first weekend in Chicago, about the additional responsibility Trey was taking on with LJ out. Obviously, he did some of that there. How has he sort of continued to handle that? And have you sort of internally continued to put more and more on him as he's adjusted through the tournament? Because certainly against Tennessee, against Alabama, there were some key moments in those games where it seemed like you had some maybe additional trust in him.
Yeah, we threw him into the fire, to be honest. This hasn't been gradual. It began the day LJ went out. We handed him the ball in practice and instantly started challenging him with the terminology, with the game management, with the actions that we could help him with the pressure releases when he did feel some heat from smaller guards, and what to call when a die had it going, or when we needed to manage the clock. And so it became a crash course, and he made several mistakes, and then the next day he didn't make very many mistakes, and then fewer and fewer and fewer. And this game, our team are very important to him. He spends a lot of time. He comes from a great family. He's well-rounded, he's disciplined, and there hasn't been a day this year where his temperature's changed. It's been about the work, whether he had 20 on the road in a Big Ten game or he had 2 points and shot 1 for 10 from the field. He's been exactly the same throughout, and that's probably the hardest thing for freshmen to do, to go through a 5-6 month season with the level of consistency that he has.
That same row, couple chairs in.
Yeah. Hey, Dusty. Tony Garcia, Detroit Free Press. One of your strengths over the years has been maximizing your players and getting the best out of it, but roster construction in the first place seems to be right up there. I'm wondering when you are putting a roster together, how intentionally are you looking at the pieces and the way they fit together, and not just assembling the stars? And does it sort of feel like one of those like infinity puzzles where it doesn't have to just be a certain piece? Like, there's ways to sort of contort all the pieces together.
I would say we look more at personality traits. There's a baseline of talent for us to recruit you at Michigan, but we also we try to recruit guys that are unselfish, that enjoy passing the ball, that either love to compete or love to hoop. If you love to hoop, you're going to enjoy being around us every day, and if you don't love to hoop, then the competition piece is going to be enough for us. And then after that, as far as being big, we just felt like that's very safe defensively. If we can be really big, then we've got that side of the ball covered because we have confidence in us ability to teach the game on that side. And then offensively, it's always a puzzle because there's so much that goes into it. We just want guys with unique skill sets that have a skill set. They don't have to be great at everything, but also teaching them the self-awareness of what they are great at. They need to live in those strengths while we're going to work diligently after practice, before practice, expanding their game and showing them that their long-term growth and development as individuals is important to us as well. We want to win at a high level. We want to be playing I want to be at this press conference on Sunday next year. But we also want our guys to feel like when they leave here that we poured into them and invested in them outside of just winning for us and winning for Michigan. And I say the guys have put the team above themselves. We don't expect them to put the team above. Just put the team on the same plane. Their individual success development is important to them, and it has to be important for us if we're going to earn their trust, and they're going to do what our guys have done.
And we'd love to have you Sunday next year.
Yes,
Adam.
let's do it. Book it.
Hey, Dusty, you talked a lot about Tarris Reed before. There's been some times during this run where he's absolutely carried Connecticut offensively. What specific threats does he pose, and how would you kind of evaluate his matchup with Adai? I mean, obviously, Adai's got a few inches on him. Should they cover each other? How would you kind of evaluate that?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the matchups are going to be. I mean, obviously, yesterday we had Adai on Koa Pete. We have some guys that you can move them around the chessboard. As far as what challenges he presents, obviously his size, force, and tenacity. That's the one thing that they've gotten it out of him, man. He's a force. He's relentless. He plays now like their coach coaches, and their coach played, and their coach's dad coached him. His teams played. So that's a real testament of him finding the right environment for him. The rebounding, the defensive rebounding, offensive rebounding, the deep position in the post obviously is going to be a challenge, because if we let a guy catch it 2 feet from the basket, we're going to be in foul trouble like we were early last night, and they're going to be scoring at the rim, and they're going to be managing the clock and controlling the possession. So we've got to be more disruptive than we've been at times, but I can't say enough good things about Terrace, because I watched about 20 games of him play at Michigan. And I see where he is now to where he was, and you don't make that jump without a lot of hard, intentional work.
Front row on the right.
Chris Ballas, the Wolverine on 3. Dusty, Mike Boynton said yesterday, if he gets another chance to coach as a head coach again, it'll be because of you, because of this. But can you talk about the value that he's brought to you? Could you see him getting another opportunity? And what's really the primary value that he's brought to your team?
Well, I have no idea if he's going to get another opportunity or when or where. He should. He's an elite basketball coach. He did a really good job at Oklahoma State, and especially considering the circumstances. And I'm not going to go on that soapbox, but he's just as good as I am. I'm the head coach at Michigan. He's just as good as I am. He's just as prepared. He's been invaluable for me. He thinks the best part about him is he covers my blind spots before they're blind. There's not a day that goes by that he doesn't call me and want to take something off of my plate that I haven't thought of. And that's what he is. He's a forward thinker. He's got a great feel for people. I don't know if I've ever met anyone that didn't say positive things about him, especially in this climate when we love to say negative things about anyone and everyone. And he's a professional. And so I hope he does, but I hope we can keep him for a little bit longer, because I know as long as he's here, we'll be better than we would otherwise.
We want to thank Coach May for joining us here in the main interview room. He's going to move on to some other media responsibilities, and we'll have Michigan student athletes in here in just a moment.
Yesterday, because of foul trouble and because of Max's injury, we saw you guys do a smaller lineup that we honestly haven't seen that much this year, given how talented and good you guys generally are. What is it like when you realize, okay, in a game this big against a team as big as Arizona, you have to go to something like that, and how much of an adjustment is it?
Last year, I think I played a little bit of 4, and then obviously with our smaller lineup, I think all of our guards are capable physically and mentally to be able to, cover for each other. And obviously, when you got guys like Adai and Merez at the paint, I think they really help as far as like rim protection. So I think it's just a physicality standpoint, and it allows us to be even more dynamic when you have different looks that, obviously you haven't played much of a small ball lineup, so it's a different adjustment for the opposing team to be able to scout that.
Leonard?
How much did Dusty May's success with Vlad and Danny Wolf in the past 7 footers, how much did that impact your decision to come to Michigan this year?
Well, that was one of the keys from me, like coming here to Michigan. Just watching him use Vlad and Danny the way he was using them. I thought it made me think about like the way I think my style of game is similar to Vlad, I would say. So it was easier to make the decision with them playing like this. So,
Nancy?
Dusty was saying that because of Arizona's size, that Elliott was actually missing shots as a way to get you the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about how difficult it was for him in terms of like getting an ankle right. What was it like for you being on that end of that kind of offensive?
Well, I was talking with DC, just ways that we can play the pick and roll. We were talking. Now we were saying like I don't know, to attack the paint, to attack the big, and try to go like him go into the paint. He doesn't have anything. He's gonna jump like the big man is gonna jump. So I will be ready for a rebound. If not, just like I would say, just let him play. He's so good as a point guard. He sees everything. So I think he did a great job when he had to like attack the paint and when he had to pass the ball. So it's just easier to play with him.
Already in the front.
Last night, Ray Jackson on the Fab Five cast said he's trying to get to this point. He's been losing, and he wants this group to take care of that. He wanted all this group to win a championship together?
I think it means everything, especially everything that we've been through, the adversity that we've been able to overcome throughout the course of the season. I feel like it was just yesterday we were just all going in northern Michigan and be able to kind of really understand each other from a broad perspective, and being able to learn each other's backgrounds, I think was very important. And looking back at that moment, I'm very appreciative to be able to kind of dig deep and learn our teammates. And I think that's what really kind of built our chemistry this far. And we've just been able to kind of build off that and really enjoy each other's success.
In the back?
Yes, how are you guys going to sleep tonight? You know, you're playing for a national title tomorrow, obviously. How do you think you're going to sleep tonight?
I'm gonna sleep good because I didn't sleep yesterday, so I think I went like at 3, 4 a.m. to sleep. So I'm gonna sleep pretty good.
Yeah, I think take a ton of cherry juice just to try to tire ourselves out a little more, just because we know we need that rest, especially to make up from last night's.
Right here.
Adai, when you left UCLA, how much of your thinking was that you needed to change or expand your game versus you just needed to be in a different system?
I didn't think that I had to expand my game. I knew that I was able to do all these things that I'm doing right now. Also, like, I'm probably not doing things that I know that I can do right now, but I know that is in my game. So it was more like trying to change the system, as you said, like program, maybe like trying to find more opportunities than trying to spend my game. So.
In the blue?
Roddy, you and Yax have spent this year wearing each other's uniform in warm-ups. How have you seen him handle these last 12 hours since the injury, and how has the team handled it?
Yeah, I think Yax is really focused on getting his recovery. I think he's done a tremendous job getting with our medical staff as far as getting the right images and getting prioritizing his recovery. We know that nothing's going to stop Yax for being available and being able to play on Monday. So right now it's just about how comfortable does he feel, and I think that he's more than excited to be in this moment. Aaron?
You love Mark and Paul Gasol, and you said those two favorite players. How's Dusty May's system allowed you to maybe play the way that you aspire to play?
I would say just the freedom that we have as a players and the confidence that he gave us is probably one of the keys. We don't play with with sets or plays, or we just hoop. We're so it's easier like that to create, to play your game. So I would say that freedom makes it super easy.
Right here.
For both of you, what is it about this team DNA that's allowed you guys to get out to big leads and then press on the gas in these tournament games?
I think it's our ability to really stay connected with each other, especially on the defensive side. I think we really hang our hats on the defensive side, and I think when we're really locked in and we're communicating and getting stops, getting rebounds and out and run, I think that we're really the best team in the country. So I think that's where it starts for us. And then when we get in the rhythm, I think offensively it's just more free flowing.
Experience of being a 6-year player and a two-time undergraduate transfer affect your career, your basketball life, your college experience? What was that like?
Man, I've been so grateful for this journey, the people that I've met, the life experiences that I've had, the challenges that I've overcome and grew as a person, as a man because of it. That is very interesting. I would say it's a little different for me, with the COVID year and then having an injury and things like that. And but I think what matters most is taking the journey, personally in a positive way and learning so much about yourself and the people around you. It's all about unbecoming and becoming, and I think that's been a large part of my individual journey.
We're joined by Merez now as well. Dan?
Dr. Morez, do you feel like a different player today than you did a year ago? And is that because of how you've developed in Michigan, opportunity situation? How would you sort of describe that process?
I definitely think I'm playing different this year, and that's definitely because of the roles. It's completely different roles of me doing at Illinois and here.
What, you go into a little more depth on what you felt like your role was there versus now?
Setting screens, rebounding, catching a lot.
Okay, go right up front.
For both of you, you got on a big lead in the NCAA tournament and you stepped on the gas, haven't given up those leads. Why do you think that's been the case?
I think that's been the case because we've done a great job of focusing on the game itself and playing good basketball, even when we're up, having a mindset not to extend the lead necessarily, but just continue to get stops and understanding what it takes to get stops and continue to play good ball offensively that we've been practicing, playing all over the season, all through the course of the season.
Rez, any thoughts on that? No?
Yeah, I agree with what Mari said. Understanding the game is about runs, so we can't get too satisfied because eventually they're going to make their run. We just got to end their run and make our run again.
Oh, watch the light there, man. All right. Other questions? Raise your hand. Okay, we'll go right here again.
Whereas, if Yaxel's, I mean, obviously the second half when he was in, he was a little bit limited physically in terms of mobility. Does that affect your role defensively, particularly against a 4-out team, a team that's going to ask, you guys to play 4 guys in the perimeter?
Say that again?
So with UConn being a 4-out team and Yaxel's mobility maybe being a little limited, does that affect how you have to defend?
I play 4-out regardless when they're down on the floor, so I think I'm going to do the same thing. And Yax is fine.
Okay, back here, front.
All right, I know you talked about it a little bit in the classroom, but could you just speak to playing Harris Reed and what's it going to be like tomorrow?
Yeah, it's very exciting just seeing his growth throughout the years and who he's also become as a person. Always been a wonderful person, human being, and I could tell then when I was with him that he has a bright future, that he has so much skill and talent that's kind of untapped, and that's definitely been tapped into, and I think his mindset has done a really good job of connecting with the level of skill that he has.
Okay, right in the middle.
Miranda and Mark, you both.
I got to talk to you too.
What's up?
Shout out to Numbers on the Board.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Can you guys both tell me your favorite thing about Adai as a teammate and about Dusty as a coach?
My favorite thing about Adai as a teammate is his passing. Dusty as a coach, him encouraging his players.
Yeah, playing with Adai is, kind of like playing with Merez in a different way that it just makes the game easier for you. I would say with Merez, it's like you have less of a physicality burden. And then with Adai, he cleans up so much on the back end and, very cerebral offensively, can, make backdoor reads, is, elite passer and dices up the defense. And then just playing with Dusty is just so much fun because he thinks the game at a high level. He finds different ways to, make the game very challenging for the opposing team by throwing different things at them that they didn't expect and sometimes we don't even expect. And it allows us to have so much potential that we tap into, and I think we've done a great job tapping into that this year.
Okay, we'll go over to the left-hand side on the wall.
Yeah, both of you guys just talked about the culmination of starting the season and all the hard work it took, becoming a brother and what it means to be a part of that stretch.
Yeah, when we were back in June and we were getting united, it seems like yesterday in a way because the season has kind of flew by in a way, but just the work that we put in and strongmans and things like that. Shout out to Matt Aldrich. Just having on-court reps with each other and getting to know each other's skills and strengths, and we maximize that every day. I remember back in like September and August, Coach was like, we haven't fully got together yet, but over the course of the next few months, we will continue to learn more about each other and more of what we can, be as a group, and I think we've done a great job of that this year.
Rez, about the journey of the season, anything can stick out?
Nah, I'm pretty much going to repeat everything he said.
I got you.
Elliot, how much of the magic of this team is yourself and the other guys who transferred in having the opportunity to play maybe in a system that fits you better than where you were previously?
Yeah, definitely. We all came here for like a change of scenery, and we're just taking full advantage of it. And everybody is pretty much playing a bigger role than they did last year, or a different role. And yeah, we're just like having confidence in ourselves and going out there and trying to show our talents.
Do you feel like you've expanded your game in Michigan?
Yeah, for sure. I think people not being able to go under ball screens on me anymore this year just is really expanding my game and allowing me to get a lot of different looks.
Elliot, what went into just creating the bond of this team with so many guys? I mean, considering, like, including yourself, having to learn all the new faces, all the new plays, everything that goes into transfer.
Yeah, I think it was the returning players. We had 3 returning players, Will, Namari, and Roddy, and I think that from day one when we all got here, we kind of knew what it was. We kind of knew what the culture of Michigan was just from looking at them as an example.
A lot of teams like to play fast. Not all of them are good at it. Sometimes things get sloppy. What does this program do to make sure that you guys can play fast and it's an asset for you guys if it's not sloppy or difficult?
Yeah, I think we just have so much chemistry out there. Like, it'll never get sloppy on offense. We kind of really know how to play off each other, and we know what kind of shots we're all looking for, and nobody really takes bad shots. So, yeah, just with all the versatility on offense we have, we feel like we could get a shot whenever we want. And, like, in the huddles and stuff, we never talk about offense. We just talk about defense the whole time.
How about in practice? I mean, do the coaches emphasize speed more at Michigan, do you think? Or is there any extra drills that you guys are doing to play fast?
Yeah, for sure. We do transition drills every practice, and we feel like we have so many good scores that we just want to have a high-scoring game every game.
I have a follow-up on everything being new. What does this season, whether it's your individual or basically team, what's it say about Dusty's ability to evaluate talent and implement it as quickly as he did?
Yeah, this is his second year doing it at Michigan. So he's 2 for 2, and just it's just showing how like you could utilize the portal, and he's just doing it at the highest level for sure.
When people think about Michigan basketball history, it seems to always gravitate toward the Fab Five. We even had the All-Cats last night. Can you guys talk about the '89 team, since they have what you guys clearly want from one?
Yeah, I don't think, like, as a group we really talk about, like, the past teams that much, just because we try just to focus on our season right now. I feel like maybe we would talk about it, like, after the season, but we have so much respect for both of those teams, and we look up to them, and we're just trying to do something that they did.
AP Stedham of AP as we see it. Elliot, what are some of your general impressions of UConn and their guard play as well?
They got one of the best coaches ever in basketball. They have really experienced guards. Their guards are great. They got a really good big man, and I just feel like it should be a fun game tomorrow.
Talking about coaches, Dusty didn't win both the 2 individual coach awards. Do you feel like a win tomorrow for Dusty helps solidify the importance and the value that he has in the coaching career in college basketball?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like a national championship to any coach would just mean so much. Just put him in history for his school, and definitely everybody on the team thinks he's deserving of those awards, and we think he deserves it. We think he's the best coach in America for sure.
Back to the '89 team real quick. I mean, with Terry Mills being so close to the program, has he given you guys any advice at all, or had any message to the group heading into the Final Four championship game?
I'm not sure. I don't think we, like, as a team have spoken to the alums like that much, but definitely after the game we would definitely be talking a lot with all of them for sure.
No matter who you guys have played in this tournament, you scored 90 points or more in every single game. I believe you guys are shooting something like 54% for the tournament. What's allowed you guys to be so successful in offense, no matter what type of defense you guys are playing?
I just think just us being so unselfish, us being so deep, and I feel like on the court at all times we have 5 players that are able to score 20 points. So when you have 5 players like that, and they all don't care who scores, and they all trying to hunt shots for the next man, the next teammate, it is pretty much unstoppable, we feel like.
Dusty talked last night about keeping the hammer down, kept you guys in for the end of the game. What's going to be the moment tomorrow when you guys realize, hey, time over my cruise, we need to keep pushing forward?
The whole game, we feel like we're gonna try to keep pushing forward. We all watched the UConn and Duke game, and we seen how they was up by 20 points, and UConn ended up winning. So we think throughout the whole game, we're gonna try to have our foot on the gas and just keep pushing forward.
Hi, Elliot. Putting you on the spot a little bit. Do you know when Michigan last won a championship? Is that something that has seeped in that you guys talk about? And when guys come from all over, is it a little unrealistic to think you're going to really connect with the past of a school and a program?
Yeah, I think it was 1989, right? So yeah, we definitely know when it was, how long it's been, and we know the last time they were in the national championship and lost, and we definitely are taking that and keeping a chip on our shoulder.
Is it surprising, coming from the ACC, seeing and experiencing the Big Ten, that it's been since 2000 the Big Ten won championship? Did you know that already?
Yeah, for sure. It's very surprising. I think this year it was the best conference in America. And compared to my 2 years in the ACC, I'd definitely say it's a better conference from my experiences. And it's just crazy to see that they haven't won a championship in almost 30 years.
So the stage is set. Braylon Mullins versus Dusty May as far as the Hoosier State is concerned, but UConn versus Michigan as far as college basketball is concerned. Again, Michigan looking for their first title in quite a long time, since 1989, and UConn, we're talking potentially 3 national championships in the last 4 college basketball seasons. What Dan Hurley has done in the Northeast part of the United States is just incredible. Really, really highly anticipated matchup between these two teams. No doubt about it. Keep up with us on air on Channel 13 and right here on WTHR Plus as we continue to cover Final Four weekend, championship weekend here in Indianapolis. The best host for this type of event, there's no question about it. Lucas Oil Stadium sure to be jumping. On Monday night, we'll see who hoists that 2026 college basketball national championship trophy. We'll bring you all the action, so keep up with us.